welcome to my channel. My name is Nathan, Psychic Medium. This is my first video on my channel, so welcome to this first post. This is a full moon reading for the 7th of March 2023. I am doing my reading in connection with Spirit, so this is a channeled message for all of us from the voice of Spirit. Okay, so when I'm connecting to Spirit and I'm listening to the energy that they're bringing through about this full moon, I'm getting a lot of mixed feelings. So this is a time when people should be feeling excited because it's the time of spring, it's the time of fresh starts, it's the time of being able to clear out the old and bring in the new. And this full moon is really championing this. It's really bringing an energy into all of us where there is an opportunity here for us to get really excited at the window of opportunity we have to create a massive change with something that we've been really grappling with. And what it feels to me is more about the change in how we're expressing ourselves, changing how we're showing up in the world, changing how we're defining ourselves in relation to others. And I really do feel there's an opportunity here for you to redefine your identity at this full moon, to feel a sense of reinvigoration of your sense of self, so you can redefine yourself and re-express yourself and your creativity in a different way. And the energy coming through impresses this as really important because it's about taking your fulfillment and your happiness levels to new heights. And you can't do that unless you are taking action on those inspirations that you're getting, those ideas that you're getting, those little pulls that you're feeling about how you want to show up in the world, how you want to dress, even how you want to create, and what you want to put out there for others to see so that you can be of value in the world. There's a lot of tension in this full moon though, so if you've been holding back and you've been struggling to make changes, there is a message here coming from Spirit about it's not about pressuring us to do something because we should be doing something. It's more about helping us to understand why we're feeling this from the energy. And if we're struggling with taking action because, you know, we're human and we're going through our fear of change, we're going through all kinds of insecurities, we're just going through our own personal stuff, aren't we? And if we're going through that and at the same time we're feeling massive pressure to get on with something and we're struggling to get on with that, that's why at this time of the full moon we're going to be feeling that immense tension, because it's almost like trying to get us to birth something. It's trying to get us to push through, and it's kind of like a woman giving birth and you know, the pain of labor, and you know, eventually she has to just surrender and allow that new life to come through. And it feels like this with this tension at this full moon, that the tension can be so uncomfortable and so painful and make us feel so overwhelmed and so desperate for improvement that eventually we just give in, and it's like, oh, okay, fine. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this change. And you're going to feel so much better if you just do this now, around this time of this energy, because that's what it's pushing you to do. For example, for me, making this post, you know, I've been wanting to make posts for a long time, and I have done before, but because of my own confidence issues, I upload things, I delete things, I upload things, I delete things. And you know, Spirit's constantly telling me to create these readings, you know, to help people, to give these insights. And here I am today doing this. So I'm a fine one to talk in terms of, you know, practicing what I preach and giving you this message, but that is what this energy is really trying to get us to do. It's trying to get us to do the really bold actions based on our passions and our sense of purpose and our sense of self, those really, you know, those real personal callings from our own soul. And it's asking us to really push through and do those, because when we do, it will have a transformative effect on other areas of our life that we've been struggling with, such as areas where we've been afraid of the future, areas where we've been anxious about our sense of security, areas where we've been insecure with our confidence and our sense of self. And being able to really push through and do these bold actions in connection to our self-expression, you know, really being a self, like, hey, this is me and this is what I'm doing with my life. That's going to really give us a level of happiness around this full moon. And it does seem to release this pressure valve, you know, of overwhelm. This valve of pressure seems to be getting released when people are taking actions on these. And you should know what this is. Like for me, it's making this post, for example. For you, it could be getting that painting done. It could be doing that application. It could be, okay, I really want to change my job. I'm going to go online. I'm going to look through my CV. I'm going to really fine tune my CV and make sure that it's tailored to the kind of jobs that I want to go for, because I want to upscale my career fulfillment right now. Or I'm really going to look at locations of where I want to move, or I'm really going to write that that plan for that novel that I want to write. I know that sounds really cheesy, like I'm going to write that book, but that is the energy. It's about the things that you're really cherishing close to your heart, in terms of who you are and what you're about in this life and what you want to put out there. And the energy at this time where we're birthing into the new cycle, it's really like, bring this with you, bring your new self with you, and let go of the old skin, because this energy around this full moon and around this month, it seems to be like a step up, like a springboard. So you want to make sure that you're leaping into this new energy with everything that you really are, all your authenticity, as best as you can. And even if there's just one action that you take that's like a marker of that, a signposter of your intention to kind of lean into that, then that is what the universe is going to respond to and mirror back to you. So it really does feel like this leaping into who you are. Now, ordinarily, we'd say, get grounded, get calm, get meditative, go out into nature, go inward, get receptive, and all of those things are helpful and beneficial if they feel right to you at this time. But the energy right now feels more like there's no need. It's time to go. You know what you need to do, and actually you're going to feel clearer, more still, more receptive, more calm, more at ease when you just do it, when you just, slay that dragon and get it done. There's an accompanying feeling with this energy that a lot of you might be experiencing, and I can relate to this as well, where we're feeling this pressure, we're feeling this motivation, to get on, and we're also feeling that sense of overwhelm from feeling kind of stuck from doing that. And at the same time, we know what we want to do, we know what we can do, we know the ways that we can do it, but it's as though there's an anxiety around the way the world is, there's an anxiety around money, there's an anxiety around a sense of security that makes us feel as though, well, I don't have enough time to do it, I don't have enough money to do it, or there's so many other things that are kind of creeping up in the back of my mind that I'm not able to enjoy the flow of this, I'm not able to get comfortable, creating this or getting on with this passion project of mine. I feel like I'm kind of torn apart by all these other kind of priorities, and I feel like I need to get those things all in order first. And I do feel like the energy is saying to understand that the reason why all of this kind of creeping tension and this need to kind of go off in tangents, and it's like that idea of, I need to change my room around and clean my room before I finish that essay, before I go and do that one really important task, I need to just make dinner first. Before I'd go and do that one really essential task that is absolutely essential to my day, I'm gonna repaint the walls first. I'm gonna do up this piece of furniture, and it's like, no, that's kind of like where we're at. We're just in this place of distraction, and the distractions are compelling and deceiving us into thinking, well, we need to address those as well, because otherwise we can't do this. We need to do this before we're comfortable doing this. And actually, Spirit's given me this feeling of just choose you and just get on with the thing, whatever that thing is, whatever that big thing is that's really important to you, that's kind of at the back of your mind that you just want to really kind of get your teeth into. And it doesn't feel necessarily like, oh, I want to make a big change, over time. It feels more like there's something that we're all kind of wanting to just begin right now. We're wanting to just start or launch or create. And it's like, it's already been in motion. It's already been, it's already been kind of running in the background and of our minds or of our lives. And it's like, okay, let's just rip off the Band-Aid and do it now. And let's just cross this little hurdle at this period of time just to feel the relief from that. And it's almost as though Spirit wants us to know how good it feels for us to just be ourselves and do those things that are truly us, and not to choose other things outside of us and put ourselves second, basically. If you're feeling like you're in murky waters right now, you're not alone. there is a murky blue energy, is the best way I can describe it, that's kind of coating the planet right now. It's almost as though it's kind of abyss like. It's like being in dark icy waters. It's like being in it's like being really deep underwater, and it's as though, you know, you can sense there's other life forms, there's other people kind of navigating around you, but you can't see each other, and it's thick and it feels treacle like, and kind of, you know, just really kind of dense and heavy, and it feels isolating, and it feels grueling emotionally, and mentally it feels kind of, you know, bleak. And I feel like that's kind of where a lot of people are at this time, where it's this strange mix of energy of, you know, there's this kind of dangling of the carrot with your soul kind of giving you this inspiration about who you are, what you want to create, what you want to do with your life at this point, because that's all life ever is, isn't it? It's what you're doing today, what you're doing with your life right now. And yeah, we're feeling the kind of the idea of, you know, sort of gold at the end of the rainbow, with, if we follow that and we can achieve that, then we'll be happier. And it's like, yeah, all these actions are there ready to take, we know what we can do, you know, we've got some basic needs met, you know, for some of us, and yet it feels as though the odds are against us because of this murkiness. It feels as though there's this low feeling across the world, there's this melancholy, and you're not alone. And the one, a cure for this is to keep in communication with your friends and your family about this feeling, and to understand that we're really needing at this time to keep lines of communication open. So make sure that you really are sticking with your people, because the energy is going to get more and more intense. It does feel like this springboard energy right now. If we don't take the leap and go along with any changes that we're feeling guided to make, we're not going along with any ideas that we're feeling guided to sort of, you know, go ahead with, that we're not, even if it's not necessarily a time of action, like big action, but we're not leaning in to the energy of what's calling us. We're not leaning into the new idea, the new possibilities for what we want to do with our lives. If we're not leaning in and we're not taking that action, then that springboard kind of time comes and goes, then that pressure, that murkiness is going to really keep increasing for us. It doesn't mean that everything's over, or that you failed, or that, you know, you've missed the boat, you've missed the opportunity. It doesn't mean this. It's just that it's just the nature of the way the energy is in the cosmos right now. It's really squeezing us. It's really pushing humanity to step up into who we really are, to step up into our spiritual connection with each other, with ourselves, and then by virtue of that, showing up in the world as a true person. And you know, a lot of us are honest with ourselves, we can be authentic, but it's like, how much are you actually letting yourself have yourself? How much are you actually filling your day with who you are, your hobbies, your creativity, your bolder dreams, the things that are a bit more out there, you know, the things that are a bit more out of the norm, out of the rat race, out of the box kind of thinking, out of the humdrum of the 9 to 5. Like, what is it that you're really wanting to do? What stamp do you want to put on the world? How do you want to change it a little bit in your own little community or in the world at large? And if we don't take these springboards from our own soul, then it's just going to feel more pressurizing. The emotional loads are going to be more intense. All of that's okay, because it will keep pushing us to surrender. But, you know, for some of us that have weak emotional or mental constitutions right now, that's going to put us through a lot of suffering. So even if your attempts are half-hearted, even if you feel like, you know, you're not doing your best at taking the action that you know you need to take right now, if it's not being done in an excellent way. For example, I want to do this post and I wanted to do it on camera. I wanted to show myself, but, you know, it's the middle of the day. I woke up late, not even dressed yet, not presentable enough, not showing my bed hair on camera, you know? But I'm still doing this. It's like that. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm not fully on time, or I'm not fully dressed, but, you know, I'm showing up for this. I'm still here, universe, you know, and the universe will just that's enough. It's more than enough, you know? So make sure you're taking this springboard at this time, making sure that you're really listening to what it is that you want to get on and create. It does feel quite practical. It does feel like, okay, let's get on with this. We're doing this today. We're making this change today. We're not eating that anymore. I'm moving on to this diet. Okay, I've had enough of this. I'm making those business cards and putting myself out there. Okay, I'm not doing this job anymore. I'm actually going to go and accept that one now. Okay, yeah, I'm going to move into that. I'm going to take that offer of that house. I'm just going to do it. Do the things that are feeling exciting, feeling a bit scary, feeling like, okay, this is actually a bold change and that's why it's unnerving me a little bit. Do the things that are unfamiliar in that sense but are still of your calling. And the universal energy is really going to have your back with that. It does seem to really synergize. The universal energy will really synergize with your cooperation to lean in to your personal callings and desires at this point in time. But do keep those lines of communication open with people at this time. Stick to your people. We're really needing to feel anchored to each other. Like we've got our own little planets orbiting us, that we've got our own little solar system of connection, of all our little constellations, all our people around us orbiting each other, so that when we're kind of, traversing through this sort of abyss like feeling, just like, the way that the stars and the planets are just traversing through the emptiness of space, they've got each other in their tight little constellation despite all that empty space around them. We're needing to do this with each other, with our friends and our family. So open up to people and make the first move as well, because a lot of people are quite insular right now. They're not knowing if they want people to talk to them. They don't know if people want to hear from them. They don't know if they want to be touched. They don't know if they want to be hugged. They don't know if other people want that. And so everyone's kind of just, okay, let's just go and look back on our phones then. No, we need to be a bit bold and a bit more vulnerable and say to people, hey, I love you, I like you, I love hanging out with you, I love that you're my mum, I love that you're my friend, I love that you're my partner, I love you, my little pet, how are you feeling, what's going on, what are you creating, are you feeling this as well, what's going on in the world for you? Just keep those lines of communication open a bit more frequently right now on a daily basis. Until it sort of feels a bit more natural to become a bit more introspective and a bit more in your own company. But right now, this energy does feel like sticking together, quite closely together, being quite open and communicative about what we're going through emotionally and mentally, creatively as well, and sharing things with people, making those icy, murky waters feel a little bit warmer and brighter and a little bit less dense and vast and a little bit more connected and tight-knit. So yeah, keep those lines of communication open, and also make sure that you are taking the action for this springboard energy at this time of the new cycle in nature. Okay, so I've just pulled a little card. This is just like the resounding message at the end of the reading for this full moon. Okay, so the card I've pulled, it says faith. I'll show a picture for this. What I'm feeling from this card is it's really about what I said at the beginning, that even if you're not feeling ready to take an action, just still do it, even if it feels like you're not doing it properly or correctly, even if you feel like you're not doing it as well as others, even if you feel like it's not dressed up properly, it's not with all the bells and whistles, it's not got all the sparkly bits, if you feel like it's not impressive enough, it's not necessarily about the aesthetics of things. It's more about you just leaning into that energy of doing it, of committing to something that's important to you and showing up for that, and trusting that that is the seed that is going to lead to more growth in terms of your capability, your confidence, your competence, your excellence, your also, your recognition from what you're doing, both from yourself and from people around you, from life around you. It does also feel as though the message is really saying that these times are going to pass, that even though it's really intense in the world right now, it's because humanity is undergoing fundamental transformation it's a real time of revolution. It's at a revolutionary level There's pockets all around the planet right now, not just in England, not just in America, not just in English-speaking countries where we understand the news. It's happening everywhere. It's also happening in areas and communities that are disconnected from the mainstream, in tribes, in communes, in little isolated communities. There are pockets of transformation and dramatic changes happening within those on a microcosmic level to mirror the changes happening in the cosmos on a macrocosmic level. And Spirit's really just wanting us to understand that it's intense and it can feel sometimes like a heaven and hell type thing, like some of us are suffering in hell while we see other people thriving in heaven. And it's just the best of times and the worst of times for all of us. Do not let the aesthetics and the appearances of things deceive you. This is why it's really important for us to stay connected to the people in our lives and to be really emotionally and psychologically open, so that we don't feel alone going through these really intense cosmic energies, because it's quite existential, this energy. It can feel quite, sometimes it can feel quite Armageddon-like, because it is a new age that we're in right now. It's a new time, and humanity, past humans would have felt things like this before. They would have felt, it's like during the times of, I think, don't quote me on this, but during the times of the Renaissance, the age of the Enlightenment, people were creating differently. There was new forms of art and music coming out where people were really feeling like they were living in a different world, a different realm, as though the dimension, the reality had shifted, as though they were in a different time. And that's what's going on for a lot of people right now. And if you're quite new to experiencing that sensation in your reality, of your reality changing, of yourself changing, it can be very trippy, and it can feel almost like it can feel very existentially like dreadful. It can fill you with a dread. It can feel like, oh my God, what's happening to my consciousness? I'm losing myself. Where am I going? What is life? What is this? What does this mean? It can almost feel like, a bad trip. But yeah, have faith. It is a really good time to stick to the gentleness right now. And by that I mean, taking things a bit more low key, sticking with people that are a bit more low-key, a bit more connected. Yeah, I know it's cliche, go outside, hug some trees, spend some time in nature. We need that every day anyway, but, around the time of the full moon, it's kind of essential. Get yourself earthed, get yourself feeling grounded. And it's a time of just being really patient, really observant, really still, and knowing it when you feel it, in terms of when to make bold moves and big actions and big changes, not in the sense of who you are, but on a material, geographical, pragmatic sense of your living arrangements and things like this. However, it is important to have some courage and to have some boldness in the actions you're taking relative to your expression of your own soul self here in the world, the things that you love, bringing out your own inner artist onto the canvas of life, of what you want to get done for yourself to make yourself feel like I've lived, I've made a mark, beginning that journey of self-expression now, and staying with your pack, and just, if you can just keep in that space of connection and flow with your creativity and your expression of yourself right now, whilst at the same time staying patient and slow and still with making any environmental or material changes, unless that is connected to your expression of yourself, then you'll be able to flow through this time of the full moon and the intense energies of this new cycle with a bit more equilibrium, a bit less anxiety, and a bit more security and inner peace. All right, so that was the message from me. I'm Nathan, psychic medium, for this full moon at the 7th of March. I don't know when I'll make a next post, when I can be bothered, when I'm not feeling lazy. No, I'm joking. I can't say all of that and then say that. Next post would be for the new moon, and then there'll be some posts in between. So if there's anyone listening to this first video, stay tuned. And you can also contact me for personal readings. I will put my details in the description of the video. And yeah, I hope you're all okay. I hope you're all okay. I know it's intense times on the planet right now, but it is a time of mass spiritual awakening. And we've just got to surrender to the cosmos at this time. It's our only anchor. The place that we come from, that we don't remember before we were born. That space, that space of origin. Think of it like a North Star and lean into it like a relative, like your ultimate parent that you've kind of strayed from on your journey into life, but they're still there. So, just lean into the security that the universe has got us, you've got you, and we've got each other. Stick with your people and take care. Lots of love.